Hello and welcome to episode 128 of Can We Still Be Friends, a podcast where two friends stopped arguing about movies and started working through them together. I'm Nate Goss, here with Ryan Ebling. 'Tis the season, once again, as we celebrate our holiday spooktacular, but this time with a 5-star twist. We rewatched the sci-fi horror classic Alien. Directed by Ridley Scott, Alien has become one of the most widely revered movies since its release in 1979. Spawning a sprawling franchise of varying quality, Alien set the standard for sci-fi horror.
Alien was a hit with audiences and critics, as the fifth highest earner in 1979 with around $80 million. Many critics compared it to Jaws in its high-tension monster feel, combined with highly engaging and well-developed characters. It was nominated for 2 Oscars and won 1 for its iconic visual effects, famously designed by H.R. Giger. Since then, despite various recuttings and re-releases and a potential watering down of its lore through a variety of sequels, the original still captures audiences today.
So what is it about Alien that still works?
You know, they say that in space, no one can hear you podcast. Keep listening.
Mother's interrupted the course of our journey.
Why?
Yeah. She's programmed to do that should certain conditions arise. They have.
Like what?
Seems she has intercepted a transmission of unknown origin. She got us up to check it out.
A transmission? Out here?
Yeah.
What kind of a transmission?
Acoustical beacon that repeats at intervals of 12 seconds.
SOS.
I don't know.
Human?
Unknown.
So what? We're obligated under Section
I hate to bring this up, but this is a commercial ship, not a rescue ship.
Right.
And it's not my contract to do this kind of duty. And what about the money? If you want to give me some money to do, I'd be happy to, just watch. Let's go with the bonus situation. We never
Can we
let's talk about the bonus situation.
Sorry, can I say something?
Let's talk about the bonus situation.
There is a clause in the contract which specifically states any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
I don't want to hear it.
We don't know that's intelligent.
I want to go home and party.
Parker, will you just listen to the man?
On penalty of total forfeiture of shares. Money.
You got that?
Yeah.
All right, we're going in.
Yeah. We're going in.
All right, that was the crew of the Nostromo. Is that how we're saying that?
I think they say it like once or twice maybe in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's one of those words that I see it written and I don't know exactly how to say it. But we'll say Nostromo, and then we won't mention it again.
Stromboli, pastrami.
Yeah, right. The crew on this Italian food
Nostradamus,
vessel,
Nosferatu,
realizing that they have stopped far from home. They're a long ways away, and there's some sound that they got to check out.
And as you're hearing there, they're not all too very happy about having to do that.
No.
I don't think I would be either.
They want to go home.
Hey, if I was hired to do a gig.
Yeah. Then you said.
Got woken up from sleep also.
Oh my gosh. Tell me about it. And now you got to do something else. It's not your job.
Right.
So this movie gets into the intricacies of space unions and contract law.
Uh-huh.
And the terror that those conversations can bring people.
Exactly.
I think. I didn't finish the movie.
From that scene, which is, admittedly very early on in the movie, but it's pretty clear where the movie's going.
Yeah.
It's going to end up in
that was how
labor strikes.
10 minutes, I said, I get it.
Right.
It's going to be management versus labor.
And so here we are.
Yeah, in space.
To discuss. Oh, yeah, that's the whole thing.
In space, yeah.
It's like Reds in space.
Right, exactly. Which I didn't finish either because I get it.
Right.
But we are back in the saddle.
Oh, man, yeah. It's been a bit of a break.
We've been woken up from our cryo sleep.
Yeah. To do this, which is our job.
This is our job. Well, it's what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
not quite the job, but it wasn't a surprise to be woken up from our hibernation to do this episode.
We actually programmed our computers to wake us up for the holiday spooktacular.
Happy holiday spooktacular.
We said, wake us up when September ends was the was the command. Our computer systems love Green Day.
Uh-huh.
So, welcome back, Nate.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
We actually have been we've been
we
playing
see each
around
other.
a little
we do
bit.
stuff. We
playing some
told you.
music and
Yeah, we
things
told you we'd be experimenting.
Yes.
None of that has made it
on the podcast
out
yet.
into the world yet, but we've been doing other things. But we had to because tis the season.
It's the spooktacular.
It's the spooktacular.
You have to put everything aside and get ready to tis this season right now of the holiday spooktacular. I love this time of year.
Absolutely.
I love what we do this time of year. We grab a horror flick and we watch or rewatch it, and here we are.
Yeah.
And so we are marrying this idea, though, with what we've been doing this whole year, which is our journey through our own personal 5-star movies.
Yeah. But the chill is in the air, metaphorically only, as it's currently still in the upper 80s here in the Chicagoland area. We want to talk about Alien.
Yes.
And celebrate the holiday. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but I do think our plan is to continue tizzing the season with the Tea Hanksgiving in November.
Yeah, we can't. We could never. We could never. We could never even flirt with the idea.
Yeah.
Of giving up on skipping a Tea Hanksgiving.
Yeah.
So don't worry, we'll do that as well.
Yeah.
But let's get into the matter at hand, shall we? So we're talking Alien now. This is obviously a classic at this point.
Yes.
Not really at the time.
I don't think it was seen necessarily as anything other than a solid movie.
Right. I don't think anybody. I mean, it did well, but you had critics who liked it.
Yeah.
But then you also had quite a few critics who were just kind of mixed on it. I think this is one of those movies that it took a little bit of time, but at this point, by the time you were in our generation,
yes,
we're like 40-ish.
Uh-huh.
I would say, are we kind of the generation that was the first to kind of say this is just a full-blown classic?
It was just kind of not even a debate. Yeah.
Right.
It was just sort of, of course, Alien's a classic. And how much of that do you think is based on the fact that certainly by the time I saw it, I know you saw it a lot earlier, but by the time I saw it, there were already 4 Alien movies.
Right. So obviously it was popular enough to merit, even back in that day, a franchise.
Right.
Well, you said just now you watched it so much later than I did. I mean, how old were you when you saw this?
I think it was in college.
Because you said there had already been 4 Alien movies?
Yeah.
At least?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be like Alien, like Resurrection
was the 4th.
That was in the
one,
90s, I think. Late 90s.
Yes.
97 was when that came out.
Right.
So now was the first one you saw?
Yeah.
Because that's not true for everyone. By the time we were our age, you might have seen Aliens first.
That's true. That's true. But no, it was the first one I saw. I remember there were friends of mine who had seen it. I hadn't seen it, and we watched all 4 of them. Not like,
oh wow,
we just kind of were like, okay, we'll watch Alien, we'll watch Aliens, we'll watch, and so we did watch them all. I did not pay all that much attention to Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection. I should probably watch those again
I'd be curious to watch Alien 3 again as a Fincher.
Yeah, right.
But you knew right away when you watched it? Did you kind of know that this was a movie that you loved? Like, at what point did you decide this was worth watching repeatedly, or that,
I do remember liking it, but it was one of those movies that I heard more about and I thought more about, and then I watched it a second time a couple of years later, and I just realized how great it was. And then the time that I really got it was where it really solidified this is a 5-star movie was, I think Kelsey and I were married at this point, but I realized she hadn't seen it, and I was like, well, you've got to see it. And we both it was just holy cow. There was something about watching it that time that was just sort of this movie is unreal.
Right.
And just remember, even knowing what was coming, something about that time, being able to see the build up to it and the genius of it, and
right. I feel like sometimes it's it takes maybe definitely your second watch, but even more maybe on your third watch, where you can pay a little bit more attention to the mechanics of what's working.
Right.
I already know this works.
Right.
Now I'm kind of watching it, figuring out why does it work so well?
Right.
What decisions were made in this that you have to watch it a couple times to be now I see that they could have easily done it this way and it would have never been as good as the way it is.
Right.
You know?
And I think there's also probably something to watching Aliens or some of the other ones and then seeing
what not to do.
Yeah. Even though I think Aliens is a very good
great
movie.
It's a very good, different
It's
movie.
just,
but
it's a completely different movie.
Exactly.
It's kind of interesting how James Cameron did that with Aliens to completely change it into this James Cameron 80s
action movie.
Giant movie.
Yes, yeah.
But so what was your experience? I know you saw it when you were pretty young.
Yeah, and this is where I'm getting to the age now where my memories are getting fuzzy to where I really think it was one way and then I'm like, but I don't know if that's possible. But anyways, I think I saw this movie for the first time on television. Like I think they were playing it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have cable. So that means it would have been on like Fox back when they would show movies like this, like during the day, you know, and so it was probably edited to a degree.
Yeah.
But I did see the chest burst part like was in there. And so that's why I do kind of question maybe we did have it or something, but like
I saw Spaceballs before I saw Alien.
Okay.
I know I saw the chest burst scene in a very different context.
Okay.
I saw the parody of it.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah.
That's where my memories kind of get conflated with it, you know?
Yeah, but I do remember, my mom not being incredibly comfortable with me watching it, but like I was really into it. Like to me, Alien was kind of my entry into horror, and I just really liked it. And I really, when I saw it, it was around when Alien 3 had come out, and I remember I didn't see it, but I saw trailers for it. And if you remember the trailer, the big thing with Alien 3 was that she had the shaved head and that the mouth was right by her face.
Yeah.
And so the imagery of that, plus watching the initial Alien on TV, I was just into Alien. Even though I don't even know if I had seen the full movie, it was just like, I'm into this. This thing is great. And then I did later on, I think I might have even before I saw all of Alien, I did like check out Aliens from the video store. So I might have seen Aliens before I saw all of Alien. It's a weird kind of like piecemeal thing to me.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't even until like maybe college where I sat down and said, I want to get the DVD of Alien and watch the whole thing. And then I was just like watching it kind of through that lens of like being into film.
Right.
And then just being like, this is such a well-made movie. My God, it is just such a well-made movie.
Yeah.
I actually watched Alien Resurrection around when that came out. I think when it came out on DVD, I had watched it. My mom rented it and we watched it. And we kind of laughed at that one. It was a little hokey.
Yeah.
I saw Alien versus Predator in the theater.
See, and we talked about this with the Predator episode. I haven't seen any of the Alien versus Predator stuff.
I only saw the first one.
Okay.
But
it is one of those things it's interesting how it's taken on a life of its own.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting to me about the franchise. No matter how good the movies end up actually being, that there's all of these different types of stories that can come out of this one movie.
Yes.
And that has to do with the simplicity of the movie's story, that it doesn't do a lot of filling in, so people were able to fill it in later. But it also has to do with just how good a movie it was, like how good a concept it is. That you can take it and say, oh, what if there were thousands of them?
Yes.
And write Aliens.
Right.
But then you can say like, well, where did these aliens come from? And write Prometheus. And then I haven't seen Covenant, but I hear Romulus is very good. But that one goes kind of back early, around the time of Aliens, I think. Oh, I might be wrong about that. But then you've got what was happening on Earth. And you've got this new TV show, Alien Earth, which I've watched the first episode. I know you've watched a couple episodes.
I've only seen 2 episodes, and I really like it.
Right.
So I'm going to keep watching it, but I don't have a Hulu subscription right now.
Oh, yeah,
so I've got to get back into it at some point.
But it's even that was like, well, taking the question, did the species come to Earth, or what happened when the species came to Earth? And what,
I think in addition to all the stuff about the actual alien itself, like you have little introductions in the first movie that, like you said, are able to branch off into ways they can explore other sci-fi elements.
Right.
So for instance, like the whole thing with Ash and Ash being a robot or android, that was like a later addition to the script. Dan O'Bannon did not write that in. That was something that was put in later. But having that little layer in there for the later movies and for like things like Prometheus and especially Alien Earth, like to be able to kind of also play with AI and androids and robots alongside this alien thing,
Right.
this little simple horror movie was able to just create enough spark of creativity within it that could branch off into all these different directions and still have a cohesiveness to it.
Yeah, one of the things I'm kind of starting to see through these discussions is the hallmark of a 5-star movie is some of those just lightning in a bottle moments
Yeah.
that they ran into a problem and the right people were there to solve
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
That none of these things happened fully formed. And like whatever happened, the people solving that problem decided correctly.
Exactly.
You know? And like if you read about what happened with Alien script, like there were things along the way where it was like, I don't know, should we do this or this is how the story is going to go.
Well, because Dan O'Bannon, he wrote sci-fi like scripts. That was his thing.
Yeah.
And the Alien original script from Dan O'Bannon was more about the first act, where it was just, hey, this ship gets a distress signal and they go to check it out and they get kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
And the alien part was there, but like they were trying to figure out how to make it so the alien gets on the ship. And O'Bannon was just running the script by Ron Cobb, who was just this guy he had worked on this John Carpenter movie, Dark Star, beforehand. And Ron Cobb, like, he just like thought of it at night. I don't know if it was a dream or what. He was just like, I got this idea where it actually like incubates into somebody and then it bursts out of their chest. And they were just like, that's essentially the movie. Like they were just like, we've got it. We've got. And so it's like, if you thought that this was like an auteur film and it was Ridley Scott's movie, of course, you need Ridley Scott to make this work.
Yeah.
But like he actually came on pretty late into this. There was a whole lot of development of this movie before he even got brought on. It was Dan O'Bannon, the script writer, who had gotten a call to go work on Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune project.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a whole documentary on that project that is really great. Jodorowsky's Dune, which is this whole idea, this guy who had this, he was given the rights to make a Dune movie and it never actually got off the ground, but it had some wild ideas.
Yeah.
And one of those was H.R. Giger, because H.R. Giger had been hired to do the production design and the concept art for that. And Dan O'Bannon met him there and saw his drawings, one of which was something that would eventually become the Xenomorph. And so Ridley Scott didn't find Giger. It was the scriptwriter who found Dan O'Bannon, who found him. And then as he stayed involved with the project, he had told Ladd at 20th Century Fox and all these other people, like, this is who you need to design the alien.
Right.
And Scott looked at it and was just like, he's right. This is exactly what it needs to be. Little side note to that I thought was really interesting in the DVD specials. Dan O'Bannon says when he met Giger the first time, Giger asked if he wanted opium. And Dan O'Bannon said, not really, but why do you take opium? And he said, I take it because I'm scared of what's in my own mind.
Oh my gosh. Another thing that helped was that before he was a director, Ridley Scott was a production designer.
Right.
And so not only did he have an eye for it, but he knew how to make it work and to film it. So you've got a scene like they call it the space jockey. Is
Okay.
But it's kind of like this desiccated skeleton corpse thing on this giant, I don't know, gun, or I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm sure somebody knows. But they go into it and it's massive. And the camera just backs out and it is an astounding moment.
It's amazing.
Where you realize how giant this place is.
Right.
And how big these beings were that got taken over by, like, you kind of realize later.
Do you remember when we were in film class in college? Our professor showed that scene as an example of production design and what it can do.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I never thought of Alien on those terms, but he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is an astonishing shot. Yeah.
And I read that they were kind of like, well, we can't really do that. That's not going to really work, whatever. And Ridley Scott figured out how to make it work with the production designer. And one of the things they did was they used children as the people walking up. So like, just to think about it, like, you know, like, just, no, we can do this.
Well, and I do remember also that Ridley Scott, when it came to casting, he told his casting director, like, you need to just find really, really good actors so I don't have to think about them. And I can put all my attention on the visuals and the production design.
Yeah.
And They did.
Yeah.
Like, they just found great actors.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the performances are great.
I
But
mean,
like, you just
yeah.
like for a director to know, like, I'm not going to have a lot of time to direct these people.
Yeah.
They're going to just have to, they're going to have to do it on their own.
And you can tell that everybody was able to pay attention to what they needed to do because it works on every level. It doesn't put a foot wrong. And one thing too is there is a score to this movie,
Jerry Goldsmith.
but it's not used where every other movie would use a
I
score.
know, right.
Watching it now and really like thinking about what does it do to do this so well?
It's, first of all, it's really subdued.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more used to just kind of like let you sit with maybe the grandeur of something. And then I feel like when it comes to the times where it really is intense, it's not like, I mean, yeah, there's no score, but the sound design is definitely doing its work.
Oh my gosh.
Like all the emergency sirens
Yes.
and all the like just different sounds of like the hissing of the different air vents and like that is giving you such an immersive experience
Yeah.
of just the chaos of what's going on in those moments.
Or they do it the other way where you've got the scene where Brett, Harry Dean Stanton's character,
Yeah.
is looking for the cat.
I always use that cat.
They do. Which is actually something.
Those are
there's
the jump scares.
Yeah,
It's
the
like-
jump scares are the cat noises. That they make fun of that in an episode of Community that's sort
really?
of based on Alien a little bit, and they're like creeping around this basement, and then like there's like a cat that jumps across, and they're like and then they like keep moving on, and then the cat jumps again, and they're like, all right, back burner, we got to find this cat. But the scene where he has to find the cat the first time, like where they were trying to like use the motion sensor thing, and Brett has to go off on his own. That's complete silence, except for the sounds of the ship, specifically the clinking of the chains.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
hanging there.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I noticed that this time, actually, the chains there.
you're
Was,
almost like praying that they would have put a score. Like, can you just put music here? Like, this is so much worse. There's nothing to tell you we're getting close to the moment, or there will be a moment, or anything like that.
well, then obviously there's the whole air duct scene with Commander Dallas, and that is definitely a sound design with just the beep of the little radar thing.
Move! Get out of there! Don't you move! Down! Move down! Move down! Get out! Oh. No, not that way! The other way! Go! Dallas? No.
Take it easy. Dallas?
This movie, it is just one iconic scene after another,
Yeah.
one iconic sequence after
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know how you do that. How you
Right.
make a movie where you're just like, oh my god, this scene's here right now. Every scene is memorable.
So I don't know if this is where we want to go with it, but what are to you some of like the scenes that even outside of their iconicness are just like,
Well, I mean, there's a reason the chestburster scene is iconic. It's got the grossness horror, the body horror is great. I guess I would just say that. That's just, to me, it still holds up. That's the most I really have to say about that. But to me now, the part that I was just more grossed out by was the face hugger sequence.
Yes.
And just the way that
Tightens on his neck.
And I think just like, I don't know, I've become a little bit more of a wimp around just even like certain insects and things like that.
Sure,
And there's
yeah.
just something about that creature
Yeah.
that is just like imagining that on your face and like it wrapping around your neck. It just, how alive that thing looks.
yeah, that's what I can't understand. When
It
I
looks
watched
so
it this time,
alive.
yes, and
You know?
when it's in the egg too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. When they're looking through like the little film of the egg. And you
yeah,
just
where
see-
it's clear and it's so gross.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where I watch a movie from this era and I'm like, how did they do this without CGI? Like, how did they get such natural, disgustingly natural movement
Yes.
from this thing? And part of it is, again, the choices they made. They didn't try to make it move like that when it was fully visible. They did it when it was in this opaque egg,
Right.
Like there's sort of things. And it's the first time
It's
you
shaking
saw
a little bit.
there's
Yeah, just
sort of
vibration.
things.
Yeah.
Just the creativity it took to say, like, we're going to make this thing look like this, and it's not going to look like anything you've seen before.
Yeah.
But they also, in this one, I think were smart enough to know we need to make it look like things that we understand. So they used real things. Like when the egg opens up, I think it's something like a cow's heart is part of what's
Got
in
it,
there.
yeah.
Like they actually used animal parts. And when they're kind of like dissecting after the face hugger's dead, that was like a bunch of oyster and like other things like that was actually kind of rotting while they were working on it. You kind of have to wonder about the people who came up with this stuff.
Well, I mean, we were just before this recording, we were talking about how I have to go up in the attic and like get mouse traps and stuff. And there are people who don't have any problem with that, but it freaks the heck out of me. And I do wonder if some of that comes from like watching Alien at such a young age and still just wondering if at any point
Maybe.
something's going to like lash out and just snatch onto my head, you know?
Possibly. I didn't see it when I was a kid, and I was still like jumping away from stink bugs this afternoon
I guess
when I was like.
I just feel like that's what it's playing off of, though, is that fear
Yes,
you
for
have
sure.
of like creatures that can just like jump out at you. And then later when Ash is like poking at it and like dissecting it, and it just looks like a real organism.
It does. It's one of those things that's kind of breaking the rule of horror movies, which is you don't show the thing. And with the face hugger, the more you see it, the more it's awful.
Well, don't you think this movie has this really great balance of the two? Mm-hmm. Like, there are times where it's not showing you a lot, and that's where the fear is. It's a lot like the shark in Jaws, like the alien itself, the xenomorph, I guess is what, you know, it really has that philosophy to it for a long time, where the less you see, the scarier it is.
I read it's got like 4 minutes of screen time.
I mean, that sounds right to me.
Right.
But like you said, then you've got these face hugger scenes where the horror, it's that type of stuff that Cronenberg plays in, of just body horror.
Absolutely.
Where like, no, let's get you close up to this thing. It's gross.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
And the same with like the chest bursting scene. Like it's light. That's probably the brightest, it's one of the brightest scenes in the movie is that chest bursting scene.
Yeah.
So it has a really good finger on the pulse of like, the way to make this the most scary is to shoot it this way.
Yeah.
And it's different
Sometimes
for each thing.
Yeah. And it varies it throughout the movie so you don't get used to anything.
Yeah.
You've got the darkness of the egg thing and that really eerie blue film light thing that is like mainly the only light coming from it.
Yeah.
Then you've got the face hugger in the lab and then the chest burster, both being fairly well lit. Then the air duct scene, which is very dark and like, you know, the just the sort of snatches of things that you're seeing. And then you've got the final scene where she's in the self-destruct mode and it's just this incredibly disorienting flashing light.
Yes.
That is not rhythmic, so you can't get used to it. Sometimes it's flashing right at us, sometimes it's not. It was so disorienting to me when I watched it last night. I was just like, this is,
and that's where the sound is more chaotic.
On every level, they knew what they were doing, which sounds like such a silly thing to say about a movie, but like you cannot get into a rhythm in this movie, and I think that's a big part of its horror is that there's no predictability to anything.
I think that that's true for like the scares and the techniques it's doing. But as far as like, if we're talking about the rhythm of the movie, I feel like the movie it has a very steady hand on exactly what rhythm each part should be. And this movie, it does take a long time to get anywhere. And I think it takes you a while, like you got to wait for them to wake up and start talking to each other to figure out, okay, these really are just like normal working Joes.
Blue collar. Yeah.
They're kind of just trained to do their job.
Right.
They're even like, you know,
they're kind
of older even.
Yeah,
like they're even like in their like 30s and maybe even 40s.
They've
some of them,
seen some stuff. There's never going to be an English duck sort of like.
Right. Yeah.
They're all just like talking plainly.
Then you keep thinking like there's going to be a scare at some point, and it then you think, okay, when they're going to land, there's going to be a scare at some point. And it's just it really takes its time to even be a horror movie.
Because it even cuts away pretty quickly from what happened with the egg.
Right.
Like you're not
right.
even sure there. Like that's not where it's like like super scary.
Yeah, because
sort
you
of
don't.
like-
Yeah, exactly. We talked about earlier about how it takes its time just letting you sit with the environment and the atmosphere. And I think the chest burster scene is almost an hour into the
Yeah.
film.
Mm-hmm.
The movie takes its time getting to the actual horror of just this alien going after people. And I do wonder if that is sort of where I know Ridley Scott, when he was brought on to make this as a horror movie, what he was looking to was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that in the pacing of this movie
Yeah.
and in the way it unfolds and how it just sort of slowly goes from being a pretty intentional, slower pace to by the end, it is just total chaos.
Right.
It's got, you're right in that when you're talking about the rhythms of the scares, it doesn't really let you figure it out. It doesn't
Yeah.
even really let you fully figure out the rhythm of the movie, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Which I didn't mean to say that it was uncontrolled or haphazard. I just mean they know how to use rhythm. And yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre I remember seeing, but also I think 2001 is a clear,
for sure.
like
Yeah.
standing on the shoulders in the terms of production design of things and Mother. And even that you kind of understand, oh, there's like this Mother Hal character. This is how it's going to operate. And it doesn't operate in that way fully. Interestingly enough, opening up the franchise to exploring the corporate side of things is that this was not like a rogue decision based on this operating system
No.
or this Android. It was written into the code
Right.
by the company.
This is a corporate decision.
Right.
And the computer just followed the orders.
Right.
And it still follows the orders as she's telling it to like destroy itself and
Right.
whatnot. Like this is not a rogue computer
Yeah.
that's commanding everything.
Right. But what's brilliant, I think, about the way the first movie handles the android character is that it kind of introduces a second monster.
Yeah.
And where you kind of, again, this sort of like you're oriented, then you're disoriented. Okay, we've got the alien to fight. Nope. Ash was an android the whole time and he was working against them. And now what do you do with like this knowledge?
And you get and he's not human, so it's not body horror, but you also get awesome special effects in that as well of just them destroying this thing.
Right.
And it's just gross.
and then kind of turning it back on
yeah,
with the decapitated
I love
head.
it.
And yeah, but so like that turn is also like, and there's a monster working against them.
And then the way we're talking about it, we talk like there's a face hugger, then there's a chest burster, and then there's an alien that's also, this could sound like a kitchen sink approach.
Yeah, right.
But it never feels like that.
No.
It feels
It's so focused.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just, yeah, all these sort of like disparate elements that came together that worked so well. Even the tagline, "In space, no one can hear you scream," that was just a woman who worked in the ad, like the marketing department came up with that. It's not like that was part of the movie. It wasn't a quote.
Sure.
It was just somebody came up with the best tagline for this movie.
I want to say, I think the original title for the movie was Star Beast.
Yeah.
And then it was Dan O'Bannon who noticed that he just kept, all it was he just noticed he kept using the word alien in the script and it just popped out. And then he kind of liked how it was both an adjective and a noun and was like, and that is such a great title.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the opening title sequence.
Oh my gosh.
That to me is very 2001.
Yeah.
But it's so cool.
Yeah.
It is such a great, and then it's just, that's just it.
That's it.
It's a little short sequence, a piece of art in itself, and then it moves on.
Yeah, but so cool. Like you just said, cool. It is like you've got that line in the middle, and you're like, okay. And then like the second line appears, and you're like, oh, I see what. I don't know.
And it just has this like cosmological look to it that's kind of beautiful at the same time, and it's quiet. I think there's a little bit of Jerry Goldsmith's score in there, but like it's not overdone.
Mm-mm.
So. We're talking about all the different parts that work together in this. This is also a movie with, it's interesting. It's a very small cast, but even though it's a small cast, it's like way more of an ensemble movie than I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people, especially maybe because of where it went.
Yes.
Aliens.
Ripley is the main
Ripley's
character, obviously.
But she really doesn't take the lead until very, very close to the end.
Yeah, once most people die.
After they're dead, basically.
Right. Yeah. But Sigourney Weaver, I don't know if this was her first movie, but it was certainly
her first movie.
First like big movie.
She had been kind of known on Broadway, I guess.
Okay. Oh.
And then this was her first film that she did. But the one thing I think is interesting about Sigourney Weaver is that originally in the script, and I think all the way up until casting, every character was written to be unisex.
Right.
And it was actually, is it Alan Ladd? Whoever the president of 20th Century Fox, they were the one that actually said, is there any reason why Ripley can't be a woman? And Dan O'Bannon and everybody else was just kind of like, I don't see a problem with that. I don't know what the reasoning was for him wanting it to be a woman, but I do think what comes through by Ripley being a woman is the number of times that her opinion is just kind of discarded. I guess, sadly, it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like if it were a man in that role and
it would be a plot hole.
It would be a plot hole.
Why don't, like he already said that,
Like,
why would they not? Yeah.
The engineers are kind of annoyed that she comes down and, is able to basically do the work at their level.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Dallas, Tom,
yes.
even Tom Skerritt, like she's like, are you sure that's a good idea?
Who's kind of supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah. And they're all, none of them are bad.
Yeah.
They're all fine. And then it's only later that you find out Ash was a robot and there was another reason why he let Kane on the ship.
Yeah.
But at the time, it just looks like he's just being a jerk because she's a woman and he doesn't want to take a command from her.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan Ladd knew even in 200 years, gender dynamics are going to be the same.
That's funny. What does it mean?
Please don't do that. Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, it's an interesting combination of elements, making him a tough little son of a bitch.
And you let him in.
I was obeying a direct order, remember?
Ash, when Dallas and Kane are off the ship, I'm senior officer.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
You also forgot the Science Division's basic quarantine law.
No, that I didn't forget.
Oh, I see. You just broke it. Huh?
Look, what would you have done with Kane? You know his only chance of survival was to get him in here.
Unfortunately, by breaking quarantine, you risk everybody's life.
Maybe I should have left him outside. Maybe I've jeopardized the rest of us, but it was a risk I was willing to take.
It's a pretty big risk. For a science officer, it's not exactly out of the manual, is it?
I do take my responsibilities as seriously as you know. You do your job, and let me do mine, yes?
What a crazy cast. John Hurt, Ian Holm.
Oh my gosh.
Tom Skerritt, Harry Dean Stanton, Yaphet Kotto.
Veronica Cartwright.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't until recently that I saw more movies that Yaphet Kotto was in. He was in a movie called Blue Collar. That was a Paul Schrader movie.
Oh, yeah.
That I think
that
you
movie's
saw
great.
That. Yeah.
Great movie.
It's an incredible movie.
With Harvey Keitel.
Right. And
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know that I really made the connection that was the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, I think a lot of people who ended up being character actors, but you don't make a career as a character actor without being excellent.
Yes.
And it's just an unreal cast. That is, again, lightning in a bottle. Like, how do you get a cast like that? You will never get that cast again. And then a star in Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
I don't know. It's just one of those, I just keep saying it, that every turn they did the right thing. And I think that's probably going to just solidify my definition of a 5-star movie. Is a 5-star movie is that I would not change a thing.
Right.
I would not make a different choice. If you don't like it, I don't really even care. Why not? Okay. Your life must be great if there's other things that are better than this.
And I know that actually when they were pitching this movie to studios, they would actually say it's like Jaws in space.
Yeah.
And I think it's also kind of just funny that we followed this up with Jaws.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is interesting to look at the parallels if you watch them back to back, that they really do kind of follow a similar, not just the patterns and the way it kind of works and what tricks it uses that do work in both movies, but also just that in both cases, this really was, as you've already said, the lightning in the bottle. Like it was just everything had to come together for this movie to work. And so, the people who get their name stamped on it are like, Ray Scheider and Steven Spielberg in Jaws, and like Sigourney Weaver and Ridley Scott in Alien, but like the more anybody kind of looks into it, it's just like, but this movie wouldn't have worked without this person. This
Right.
movie wouldn't have worked without this key element. This
Right.
wouldn't have worked.
When
It
they
wouldn't have
needed-
worked if this mistake happened and they had to figure out a way around it.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's it's a case for resilience and problem solving.
Yeah.
As much as like we like to believe that great art is some mystic,
Or a singular,
fully formed,
yes,
like
a
you've
singular
got to have some
artistic vision.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's about showing up, running into a problem, and figuring out how to solve it.
Going along with that, like this is the business of movie making. Like the business of movie making is writing a script.
Yeah.
Like having that person be okay with scripts getting rewritten over and over again, like just finding the right director for that script. And
Yeah.
like it's just as much of a studio production
Yeah.
as it is any sort of vision from some sort of artistic,
Right.
eye of a director.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the right people showing up to work
And it's
every
not
day.
particularly a passion project for either of those
Right.
directors.
Right.
They were just the ones that were the right people to make that movie.
And both, it was like their second or third movie, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if we had longer to talk about it, we could figure out what life lessons we can learn from that. But
One lesson for sure is that if you can somehow make your artistic vision Jaws in fill in the blank,
sure,
it's going to be good.
it's going to be something.
So like for this, if we could think of like
Our
our
podcast
next
could be
podcast episode could be Jaws in podcasting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So if any of our listeners, because this is a group effort, this
Oh,
isn't
for
just
sure, yeah.
our-
Like we
but
said.
if you can think of a way to do Jaws in podcasting, we
Which
got
we
it.
did. If you'll recall our last episode, we did Jaws.
We did Jaws in podcasting. Well, okay, so
Is
maybe
it a
that's
masterpiece?
Is it a classic,
Well, at the time, people weren't
They
all
were a
that
little
wowed,
mixed.
right?
or it just wasn't?
Yeah.
It fell on deaf ears.
Yeah. So in the future, when people do podcast review podcasts or whatever the next thing is going to be,
Right.
people will look back.
It's
They're
gonna
going to be astounded. They're like, they did Jaws, took a small break, and then Alien.
back to back.
Imagine what it must have been like in
Mhm.
that room, electric in that room
Lightning in a bottle.
when they recorded those episodes back to back.
Because no one had thought of that before.
Right.
Like Jaws in podcasting.
We don't want to do their work for them,
Right.
but I will say we made the Jaws of podcasting.
We did. And then we
And then we
right after
followed it
that
up
we
with
did the
the
Alien
Alien
of
of
podcasting.
No pressure on the T. Hanks giving.
Which I think
Which is gonna
what
be great no
happens
matter
is
what, 'cause
then
Tom
we
Hanks
become a
is in
template, and then people are going to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I got an idea for a podcast. It's the
It's gonna
Can
be
We Still Be Friends of podcasting."
Or the Can We Still Be Friends of changing oil or whatever.
Yeah, whatever your
whatever the
endeavor
thing
is.
is. Yeah. Wow. What a gift we give to the world.
Yeah, well, and that's what we do during the Spooktacular.
That's
It's
right.
It's a season of
Tis
giving.
the season,
It's a
yeah,
season of
that's right.
Fearful giving.
Fearful giving. Yeah. Giving out of fear.
Yes,
Just afraid of what people will think of you if you don't give.
right. The horror of giving.
Yeah. Well, again, another successful celebration.
Another Spooktacular in the
season.
books.
I hope that you and your family are as scared as me and my family are.
Right now. We are. Don't worry. Don't worry. We are. But
Well-
and we hope for our listeners that in the spirit of
In
the
the
season,
spirit of the season. Yeah. A joyous.
that you are appropriately scared
yeah.
right now
Yeah.
of just everything.
Oh man, we should probably talk about what we're going to do for the T.
let's do a
Hanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Let's bring some joy into this. Yes. So for the next episode, T. Hanksgiving, of course, a season that I know we both definitely look forward to. We're going to do an incredibly popular Tom Hanks movie, a classic
Possibly
of Tom Hanks.
Is this the most popular?
I think just as far as like the one that so many people
Yeah.
have seen, and it's like that peak run of Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm. That like 3 or 4 year run that we always talk about,
Yes,
where we
every
just
year.
can't fathom.
Right, and probably won't ever happen again.
With another actor.
With another actor.
Yeah.
I doubt it, actually.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But anyways, if you haven't already guessed, just if you've listened to us long enough and you already know what other Tom Hanks movies we've done,
And
we're
you
kind-
probably thought, how have
Have
they
we
not
not?
done this one?
right.
How have they not done Forrest Gump?
Yes,
now,
that's the one.
2025, T-Hanksgiving, we're doing it.
2025 seems like the right year to do it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Not an anniversary exactly. Last year probably would have been the year to do it, but
94. Well, the 94, 94. Yeah.
30-year anniversary, 31.
What did we do last year?
We did. Was it the Burbs last year?
Or was that 2 years ago? No, last year we did Apollo 13.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, this would have been the year to do that. James Lovell died, is what I'm saying now.
Oh, that's right. You're a hometown hero.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're tackling Forrest Gump. We're doing something nobody else could have done in that movie.
No.
Which is tackle Forrest Gump.
That's true. And honestly, think about it. We're going Jaws, Alien, Forrest Gump. I mean, this is this is like our
our
Tom
92
Hanks,
to 95.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we hope you join us. I don't think we need to talk too much about Forrest Gump now. I mean, everybody's aware of what this movie is, and we don't want to give away too much of what we're going to talk about.
No,
so,
yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Watch it.
So watch it. I mean, that's the kind of movie I also feel like around this season when you're with family, you can throw on Forrest Gump.
What a great, calm down from the hectic hustle and bustle of being out at the mall, decorating for the holiday spooktacular.
Right. Well, this will be a little the wind down after the spooktacular.
Yeah.
And you just need to rest.
Ramp up.
And the ramp up to the T-Hanksgiving.
So, yeah.
But you got the family coming over.
Right.
And you're also kind of like, we got to host this thing. It's going to be stressful.
Oh, my gosh. Why do we do this every year?
Yeah. What are we even going to, entertain people with while I'm trying to get stuff on the table, food on the table? Right. It's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That's what you're putting on.
You have to. And then when you run out of things to talk about at Thanksgiving, or things are tense because nobody's talking about anything at Thanksgiving.
Right.
Toss this podcast on.
That's right.
You want to have the most successful Thanksgiving you've ever had. You toss on our podcast, our episode, our T-Hanksgiving celebration of Forrest Gump.
Yes. It is practically guaranteed to bring harmony to your family.
Yes.
And that's not from us. That's the magic of Hanks.
That's right.
That's not us doing
that's
that.
not. Oh, my gosh. I do.
Don't get that idea.
Thinking
in your
back
head.
to how I sounded, it sounded like it was us.
Right. No, we're not taking any credit.
It's the reason for the season.
Exactly. Right.
The man, T. Hanks.
The man who, wasn't it this year that he was denied his award?
He wasn't denied his award. He was denied his ceremony, like his presentation.
So we got to be questioning now, are people having the appropriate regard for Hanks
That's right.
at this moment?
Honestly, this is one of those things people have forgotten the reason for the season.
It's true.
It's become about politics. It's become about being right, being wrong. It's about the Hanks.
When you're so polarized
Yeah.
that you start splitting on Hanks, you got a problem. You got a big problem.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
right.
really this is going to be the goal for the season.
That's right.
We're going to throw on Forrest Gump.
That's right.
And we're going to celebrate the one thing that we should all... I can't believe I'm even saying this, that we all have to come back together
We're at this point. Yeah.
And that's Tom Hanks.
Giving thanks for Hanks.
Giving thanks for Hanks. So please, if we haven't said so already, and I know we have said it actually a couple times, join us for our Forrest Gump episode of T-Hanksgiving.
That's right.
But before that, we would love to hear from you about Forrest Gump, about Alien, about Jaws, about this amazing run that we're having right now on the podcast.
Yeah.
So really, to listen to or comment on this or any of our past episodes, find us at canwestillbefriends.net or email us at feedback@canwestillbefriends.net. And if you'd like to leave us a voice message and be featured on the podcast, email us a voice memo.
As always, we'd love it if you could subscribe and leave us a rating or review at Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever they let you rate and review. Those ratings really help spread the word about our show. Can We Still Be Friends is written and produced by Ryan Ebling and Nate Goss and edited by Nate Goss. Thanks for listening.
And we'll catch you next time.